My motivation is still very much the fact that I can always get better. I'm nowhere near the finished product. I've still never played the perfect game, and I never will, but I guess that strive, that want, that desire to do that is something that I'm still very much going for. And I think also the fact that you're not only playing for yourself, you're playing for your family, you're playing for your teammates, and that feeling of having laid it all out there on the pitch and enjoying a post-match beer in the change rooms, there's nothing like it. I'm Ben Earl, I'm a professional rugby player for Saracens and England. I grew up in Kent, just south of London. I played a load of sports as a youngster, played a lot of cricket, a lot of golf, a lot of rugby. And then at about 16 or 17, I made the decision to prioritise my rugby over my cricket. I turned professional for Saracens at 18 and then made my debut for England at the age of 21. I've gone on to play for Saracens, I think about 125 times, and I've played so far for England 28 times. Playing for your country is the highest honour that you can achieve in the game in terms of the effect it has on others. I know how proud my family are of me, I know how proud my friends are of me. I know the amount of work it takes to get to pull on that jersey once, never mind however many times people have managed to do it. The feeling it creates is pride, excitement, just the thought now of playing at Twickenham, playing at Murrayfield, playing at all these amazing places and representing the country that you've grown up in is so powerful, and you have to sometimes pinch yourself that you're still doing it. It just makes you appreciate what you do so much more. I think the Lions brand has got a number of bits rolled into it. The prestige about the history, the great players that have played before, the great tours, the great wins, the great performances, all that rolled into one. And also it's the pinnacle of our sport. It doesn't get bigger, there's no greater honour. It's something that's always in the back of your mind when a tour's coming round, and it's something that I'd love to be involved in. I think rugby players, the ones that are successful, are very humble, very self-aware in the sense that they leave their ego at the door, they're willing to work on their weaknesses. It's not an easy thing to do. But also they're driven and they're competitive because they're gonna have to fight through some very hard times, whether that's physically, mentally, whether that's problems with selection, with form. Yeah, they're pretty resilient guys, and they're people that want the best for their team but also want the best for themselves. When you run out for a big game or in front of a massive crowd, there's not really any feeling like it, nothing I've had before. It's a mixture of fear, adrenaline, excitement, the fact that you love it but you also hate it. You know you're going to be under the microscope, you know there's going to be moments where that crowd's for you, that crowd's against you. I'm so glad and lucky that I play a sport where there's 14 other people going through exactly the same motions, and the only way you get through those moments is together. The culture at Sarries is made up of a number of different things. The environment that the coaches have created over a number of years, combined with the players' buy-in that no one's bigger than the club. An 18-year-old who's just come in can be the same as a 100-cap international in terms of importance. My role in the team has changed massively as a small fish in a massive pond as an 18-year-old to one of, maybe a bit more of a senior player at 26. I think there was a meeting that went on between myself, the head coach, and my dad, and we said, look, we'd be really interested in signing Ben in a year's time. These are the things he has to work on, these are the things that we like in his game, and that was all the motivation I needed as about a 17-year-old to go and do that. Although I was balancing my academic studies, I was fully focused on fulfilling my potential as a rugby player. As I've got older and I've played more games, recovery is as important as the week's training. You can train as hard as you want, but if you're not recovered by the time the game comes around mentally and physically, then there's almost no point. I think there's a mental recovery and there's physical recovery. I think mental recovery is much harder to do. Physical recovery, I'm not sure everyone wants to sit in an ice bath straight after training for 5 minutes. There's some really hard, disciplined things you have to do to make sure your body's right. And yeah, I guess that's the difference between the best in the world and maybe those who aren't. Before pure sport, I was leaving my recovery, I was leaving my sleep, I was leaving my, at times my cognitive function up to chance. I felt the noticeable difference of taking stuff like lion's mane, cordyceps, unwind myself and others that I've shown the product to. I can't help but notice the effect that has on my sleep. Sleep is the most important part of my recovery. It's where my body resets, it's where the process starts again. I wear a Whoop, and the stark difference of when I take Unwind, when I take magnesium and when I don't is so different. Whether it's my sleep quality or my recovery scores in terms of my heart rate variability is crazy, and now I almost don't feel like I can sleep without it. I'm Ben Earl, and this is why I choose pure sport.